Hey, you're here with Ben, and today I'm going to share with you my 3 favorite Bavarian foods and my 3 most favorite local restaurants here where I call home in Munich. Good morning, everybody, and a not so bright and early morning this time, as it's just a lazy Saturday food tour after all. No early call times for me at the Hauptbahnhof. And I suppose it's kind of funny in a way, right? We've done 49 videos where we leave Munich to go somewhere, and never once have I actually shown you around. So what better way to change that than to share with you my 3 favorite Bavarian dishes at my 3 favorite Bavarian restaurants. And if we're being really honest, why am I finally showing you around? Well, I watched a few videos last week by some passers through who were doing the ultimate Bavarian Munich food tour, and well, now I've decided to make my own, and let's go ahead and get started by going to my favorite beer garden in all of Munich. And let's put a map on the screen as we head over to the neighborhood of Heidhausen to get there, as it wouldn't be a near from home video if I didn't include a map. And now I do promise we will get to the beer and food shortly, but I think it's also important to really highlight where we are, something a lot of the other videos often miss. So we're in Heidhausen, but what is it? Well, it's an absolutely beautiful gem of a residential neighborhood just on the other side of the Isar River from the Altstadt, or the big touristy old town of Munich. And it constantly shocks me that you can go on a 20-minute walk from the most busy and touristy area and end up exactly where people live. The vibes are fantastic, and that's why it's my first recommendation of where we should go, because quite frankly, a lot of my nights out end up around here. I mean, got a lot of friends in the area. But no more dilly-dallying, let's go get a beer. Alright, so we finally made it to the Hofbräukeller here am WienerPlatz. I'll go ahead and put that on the screen as it's kind of hard to spell if you don't speak German, and I'm about 6 hours earlier than I would usually come here. That's why it's a little bit dead, but we've got a packed filming schedule. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Another important note though is to make sure that you don't confuse this with the Hofbräukeller in the Altstadt, because quite frankly, I mean, it's the #1 beer hall to go to, and I'd recommend you skip it, at least if what you're interested in is knowing what a local's beer garden experience really is. This place, it'll provide it. It's going to be mostly self-service, and you can sit at these tables for hours losing at backgammon. That's what I usually do. Anyway, without further ado, let's sit down. All right, so we decided to start off our day, because I guess this is technically my breakfast, lightly, with ein Maß, which is a liter of beer, a large brezen, a pretzel, and the Bavarian cheese dip, which is called Obligatory. And I tell you what, you guys have me feeling like such a tourist right now, kind of gushing over these things, because I mean, this is a completely normal thing to get at a beer garden, but it is a bit weird when you're like caring too much about it, because quite frankly, after you live here for a little bit, or even if you're just on vacation maybe, you forget that the rest of the world doesn't drink beer so enthusiastically. I mean, the rest of Germany doesn't drink beer quite like this, and I don't know, it's like the most touristy thing you can do, right? To really care a lot about it, you gotta be cool and act like it's nothing. Now, as for beer, as we mentioned, this is a Hofbräu kind of branded beer garden, so that's the beer you're going to be getting. If you're not in the mood for a whole liter, there is a sneaky trick that you can do, which is to get a Radler, which is half beer, half lemonade. So I haven't done that right now, but that's a pretty good trick if you want to keep drinking, but maybe not quite as much. And as for the brand, I mean, I never really find myself reaching for a Hofbräu as a local that much. I prefer kind of, I mean, Weltenburg if I'm going for something really interesting. Giesinger at home, and Polana is one of my favorite at beer gardens, but this one has Hofbräu and it's still my favorite, so sure, I'll pick it up when I can get it. That being said as well, if this is what you're used to as a pretzel, if you're out in America, you get these in those large bags at Walmart, then this is probably going to be a bit weird for you as well, a large bready brezen, if you will. But you know, you get used to it, and it's quite frankly delicious, so let's get started. So now for the pretzel, well, what am I supposed to say? It's really, really fantastic German bread. Though the salt rocks they put on top can be sometimes a bit too overpowering for me. What's interesting here though is not these things, but the Obadzda, which is kind of an acquired taste and nothing like what I thought it was going to be when I heard cheese dip. You see, it is 2/3 an aged cheese, kind of a soft aged cheese like camembert, mixed with 1/3 butter. So it's incredibly fatty and quite strange, but it goes incredibly well with the beer. So I would recommend you try it, but it doesn't taste anything like cheddar. All right, so now that we're done at the beer garden, it's about time we get something a little bit more substantial. However, we don't have to leave Heidhausen for that, but we are going to walk a little bit away from the residential area and closer to the Isar River, where there's the Deutsches Museum, so it's a pretty convenient location for locals and tourists alike. Also, so happens to be where I go for the vet every 6 weeks. My little Greek red cat has quite a few health problems.
Hey, Pinches!
But it's a really fantastic restaurant over there that I can't wait to show you. So let's go. So now, after a quick jaunt through Heidhausen, we've officially made it to Verts House in der Au. Technically, this neighborhood is Au, as in Au Heidhausen, but that's neither here nor there. The map will explain it. But now let's talk food, because I am so starving for something substantial. And this place is more than ready to deliver, as it specializes in Knödel, or dumpling, specifically Semmelknödel, or bread dumpling, as opposed to a Kartoffelknödel, which would be like a potato dumpling. This place is all about bread dumplings, and they take them to the next level. So what is a Semmelknödel? Often what this means is you take slightly old bread, slightly stale, break it up into small pieces, soak it in milk, and mix it with a variety of other ingredients to make something really tasty that goes very well with beer. It can soak up gravy and any alcohol you have in your stomach. They're absolutely wonderful. Now, usually they are also, in that note, a side dish, right? You'd have it on the side of something with a lot of gravy, like a pork knuckle. But here, they actually elevate them all the way to an entree, and I'm super excited to explore it and share it with you. So why don't we go ahead and get a table, get tucked in. Oh, and also they serve Paulaner here instead of Hofbräu, and I do like that one a bit more. So maybe we'll have another drink while we're here. So now this place is absolutely fantastic for any of you vegetarians out there. I mean, Camille behind the camera knows that this place, well, Bavaria and Germany in general, not the best place to be a vegetarian. Meat kind of rules the menus, but not at this place. As I mentioned earlier, the Knödel, the dumplings, which usually are relegated to a side dish, are elevated all the way to an entree. So you're not stuck eating side dishes. So now, what do we have here? Well, I went for the Knödel trio because I'm feeling incredibly undecided. So instead of getting one big Knödel, I got 3 little ones. We've got a spinach Knödel in like a tomato sauce, a cheesy Knödel, and an aubergine and zucchini Knödel as well. All the different varieties. They look pretty fantastic, but I'm a little jealous of Camille's. She wasn't feeling undecided, so she went all in on a spinach Knödel. They look pretty good.
So it's sort of the bigger version of Ben's little tiny Spinat Knödel that he got. Because I had the trio, like Ben's getting, once before when we came here, and I was really, really into the Spinat, so I thought I'd go with that. It's just 2 of the noodles in a tomato sauce. Yeah, so I know some people don't like Semmelknödel because it has kind of a gummy taste, which is making it sound kind of unappetizing, but I really like it, so yeah, holds up.
I like this place. It is definitely a local's haunt, but it needs to be more than just that, because I am staring down the Deutsches Museum right now, and I know you guys visit there when you come to town. You've got no excuse. You should totally come here and get some food before or after. It'd work either way. As for me, I think I'll keep coming here every time I go to the vet. For now though, we're gonna go ahead and walk down the Isar River towards Glockenback Fettle. It's another neighborhood which has excellent restaurants, and that's where we're gonna be trying our 3rd and final Bavarian meal of the day. All right, so now as we wind along the ever excellent Isar riverbanks from Heidhausen over to Glockenback Fettle, it's probably worth me bringing up the real local suggestion and kind of my bonus suggestion for you out there if you don't already know it, which is to grab some beers at the grocery store, get some food for a picnic. I'm always recommending picnics, and just come and hang out by the Isar. That's what everyone else does, and it's an absolutely excellent way to spend your lazy Saturday or Sunday. I can't recommend it highly enough. So let's talk about Glockenback Fettle, where we find ourselves now. Though specifically, we're not in the main action area of the neighborhood. We're actually all the way at the most southern end of it, where it gets a bit more industrial. But trust me, this restaurant is worth it. You see, it's less of a locals haunt, and actually, this is a neighborhood haunt. Something that really reminds me of a village pub back in the UK. This is going to be the same clientele coming in, week out for amazing and dependable service and food. It should be a really wonderful experience. All right, everybody, it is time to have our third and final Bavarian meal of the day here at Drei Mühlen, which is going to be serving up Schnitzel. I mean, their menu is amazing and expansive, so you can get all kinds of other stuff, but I come here for Schnitzel. If you come here for something else, well, you can fight me in the comments. Oh, and they serve Augustiner on tap here as well, so I guess in the background, we've done a bit of a Munich beer tour as well. Let's get seated. All right, so now that we have a table, let's talk about Schnitzel. And you're probably already familiar with it. You know the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's going to be meat pounded really thin, breaded and fried. Well, the one you're probably most familiar with is going to be Viennese from Vienna Schnitzel. And that's usually veal and not too many sauces and spices, kind of a standard variation. However, it's important to kind of understand that Schnitzels everywhere and all over the Germanic Alpine Europe area, they're going to have variations. Particularly the Munich one uses kind of a sweet mustard in between the breading and the meat layer. It's pretty delicious. However, here they take it to a whole new level with a pretty complex Schnitzel menu where you can really dial in with a variety of interesting types. First off, they let you dial in the specific kind of meat you want, and yeah, that's not particularly surprising. They have veal, they have pork, but what's really interesting is they have a type of vegan celery root. That's quite weird. Camille's had it before, and it's pretty good, though not quite comparable. From there, they have a variety of more interesting tweaks. They'll give you a good Münchner and Munich Schnitzel, but they'll call it, as kind of a cute callback to our walk, the Isar Schnitzel with this sweet mustard. Looks really good. But another one that really catches my eye is the Drei Mühlen Schnitzel. An even better callback for earlier because it uses pretzels as the breading instead of normal bread. And if you're undecided between all of those amazing options, you can get the Schnitzel Trilogie, the trilogy of schnitzels, where they'll give you a Drei Mühlen, an Isar, and a classic Vienna, all on one plate. It looks like a lot of fun. And of course, don't forget to pick a side, and I'd recommend a sauce as well. The one I'm going for is going to be the Rahmschwemmel, which is a gravy with mushroom sauce. It's really lovely. And it kind of counterbalances the fact that schnitzel can be a bit dry. So that's what I'd recommend you go for as well. One of the problems with getting the trilogy though is it's hard to tell which is which. Not that it really matters. It really does hold up. It's wonderful. Overall, I'd say getting a schnitzel with a gravy is really important. I think I already mentioned that they can get a bit dry, but this solves all that. And the Rahmschwemmel, it's actually what Camille has as well, is such a good dish on its own right. It should be included in a separate video. So let us know if you kind of like this, because we'll do more. I'll keep eating. Yeah, I mean, I'm no chef, but honestly, it's just such a complete flavor profile. When you get the really lovely, well done meat, the little sweet mustard on top, you've got the fried breading, but the Rahmschwemmel is also on that, but you still get the hit of the acid from the lemon. It's unbelievable. I'm not a food review channel or anything like that, but this place is amazing. But now I need to put the camera down. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'll see you in a minute. Well, there it is, guys. I think that about does it for me and my 3 favorite Bavarian restaurants here in Munich. And what a calorie hit I took for you guys today, my 2,000 subscribers. So on that note, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. I hope you found this useful, and let me know in the comments, have you been to any of these restaurants and have you tried any of these foods before? I'd love to know if I've taught you anything new or shown you anything new today. And hey, if you're lucky and you come here and you go to one of these restaurants, well, maybe you'll run into me there, but not for a while. I think I need to take a little break from Bavarian food just for a minute and probably sleep it off for the rest of the weekend. So I'll see you guys in the next video. No. I got Ramschwemmel all over my pants.